I bought a pre-built. Hi, ThatPaulGuy, and as I mentioned, I bought a pre-built. Not so I could get, some behemoth of a system and get a great graphics card or, a Ryzen 5000 CPU out of it or anything like that. But just because one of the things I thought of doing was checking out APUs, which is the graphics processor and the CPU combined together. And I ordered one on eBay, and I started looking, and I found the next model up, which would have been about 250 bucks if I had ordered on eBay. That next processor up is actually in this pre-built that I got from Best Buy. Now, a thing about Best Buy real quick. I don't know about the Best Buys in you guys' area, but I'm gonna tell you the one down here in Clearwater, Florida, outstanding. Their customer service, their cleanliness, the amount of stock they're trying to keep on their shelves. It wasn't completely full. Obviously, they don't have video cards in there. There's some processors that are hard for everybody to get that are missing, but they had plenty of things like i5s. They had 3700Xs from AMD. They had a bunch of accessories, cases. They had keyboards and mice. They had a lot of stuff that was available for the do-it-yourselfer. There was a couple of things like, video cards that were all missing that weren't there, but they had plenty of RAM memory kits. They had all-in-one coolers. They had fans. They had a bunch of stuff, and I was really pleased to look around the shelves, and everybody that I either passed by or dealt with was very friendly. I even got from people that were passing by on the way to do something else, I was acknowledged or nodded to, and for the folks that I talked to, they were very friendly. So if you haven't lately, give your your local Best Buy a shot and see what things are like down there, because I was, and a shout out to the one in Clearwater, Florida, because folks, awesome. I mean, really, really very impressed, and really enjoyed the visit down there. What I did buy was an M01 F1124. Now you're going, what in the, it's an HP all-in-one. It's got a 4600G Ryzen 5 processor in it. Now, there's not a whole lot to this, and as a matter of fact, there's not a whole lot in the case at all. I'll show you a kind of a shot of the emptiness that's inside. HP could have done, they did okay with this, especially because they didn't put more power in here than you actually need. It's a 180 watt power supply. There are 4 USB 3.1s, I believe it is, on the front. It says 3.2, but I'm not so sure they're 3.2. I think there are 3.1s that match the ones on the back, but there's a couple of 3.1s on the back as well. They're all A-type USB 3s. There is a couple of USB 2s back there. There is also audio on both sides. There's a card reader on the front here. This mystery slot right here does not open up or go to an optical drive. It's not included, so don't worry. And because it is an all-in-one, the custom motherboard that comes, the HP custom motherboard, does have an HDMI out. I believe it does also have a DVI out. Yep, it's got a, well, nope, I lied. It's got a VGA out, of all things. So overall, pretty good setup for what it is. Some of the things it could have done better. First of all, it's got an Intel cooler on AMD chip. So you've given me an AMD GPU, but you put an Intel cooler on it. And so that's one of the things that we are going to work on. One of the upgrades we're going to make is we're going to put a different cooler on. I went ahead and bought another Intel cooler, but we all know that Intel coolers aren't great, so I bought one by Arctic that we're going to go ahead and slap on there. And that will not be in this video, it's going to be in a future video. But I also did notice that the RAM that's in it, it comes with 12 gigabyte of RAM, which is great because that's the absolute minimum you need for a game like Cyberpunk. However, 12 gig of RAM is an 8 and a 4. So there's no way they're working in dual channel. Unless for some reason you configure it where it's only using 4 and 4, which defeats the purpose of having an 8 gig stick in there in the first place. So my thoughts, HP, do a little bit of R&D and put a better cooler, maybe an AMD cooler, on the AMD chip that you're putting on your custom motherboard. It shouldn't be that difficult to drill different holes. And either go with 2 4s or 2 8s and leave us at that. Don't give us a 4 and an 8 because it's weird. That's just weird. It also comes with a 1 terabyte SSD, NVMe drive by Kioxia, Kioxia. If that name doesn't sound familiar, the name Toshiba probably does. It was Toshiba's memory division that split off and became a different company itself. I haven't tested it out too much. I did a little bit, and I'll throw a crystal mark up here. I didn't stress it a whole lot, but I did do some initial tests, as well as some temp tests and stuff like that of the system as a whole. Overall, it kept up okay. Now, some things that are confusing, when I ran CPU-Z and I went ahead and ran the bench for the CPU on it, it did about as well as, I believe it did as well or better than a 1700X in multi-core, but way, way down the line in single core, which was really confusing. And the only thing I can think is that because the cache is so much less on this integrated graphics and CPU, that maybe there just wasn't room. And that's something I'll take a look at in the future as well. I did run a couple other benches just to kind of take a look at things and see what our baselines were before we started making any moves. But this is what we're starting with. This is going to be, there's probably going to be a couple of videos on Monday. Today is Friday when I'm filming this. No, what is today? Thursday? I'm going to try to have this out by Friday. So I'm filming this. Next Monday will be about 4 days, 5 days from now. I will have the other chip, the 4350G, that I will be able to compare, and we'll kind of do a side-by-side with those. I will see if there's any way I can acquire or manhandle or anything like that, a graphics card to be able to put in here, but I don't believe so because the power supply is a very low wattage. It's 180 watt. So I don't believe that I'm going to be able to do that because these APUs are rated just a little bit over, probably between a 1030 and a 1050 in the first place. 1050s are almost impossible to come by. Then you got to worry about their DDR4 and DDR5 variant, which is totally confusing, totally messed up. But by the time I try to get a 1030, which is selling for outrageous prices anyway, this is going to be better than that anyway. So what I might do is I might take all of the chips involved in my testing and move them over to the Corsair 220T case that I'm working on and do some tests over there with like a 1650 Super or something. So we'll figure out a way to do some tests. But some of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to replace the cooler. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we've got regular memory that matches up. And I'm going to see if there's any way I might be able to do something with a video solution and see what we can do and what we can get out of there. So there are some like SATA ports and SATA power that are available in the machine, especially because they didn't put an optical drive in here, and there's a little bit of expansion. There's two M.2 slots. One of them's taken up by the SSD, the other one is taken up by a Wi-Fi 5. It is not 6, it's 5. And there's a couple of empty slots. There's one PCIe 4 slot, I believe it is, and then there's one full 16 size slot that would be for a GPU, if you can find one that doesn't take power. So that's what we're looking at right there. It comes up, very little bloatware on it. The standard stuff like McAfee. Oh, and by the way, McAfee, stop trying to enroll me in stuff automatically when I try to delete your software. Not impressed. Got an email saying I'd automatically started my free trial version when I uninstalled it from this machine. So other than that, not a whole lot of bloatware, just your normal Microsoft and HP stuff. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it, but we'll do some testing and we'll see just how happy I am when we get to that point. So and make sure you're subscribed. There's an amazing 90% of people that see my videos aren't even subscribed. So take just a moment and hit that little icon down there in the bottom right-hand corner, your bottom right-hand corner as you're looking at it, and hit the like button if you liked it, hit dislike if you didn't, but kind of let me know why, and give me your thoughts. Have you purchased an integrated system or a pre-built or anything like that, or an all-in-one or anything, or what are your thoughts on it? And kind of follow along, because there's probably going to be 2 or 3 other videos on this, just kind of with the material involved and seeing if we can do anything to, you know, kind of spruce it up and make it a little bit better than HP did. Like I said though, really big shout out to Best Buy and Clearwater. You guys did an awesome job. I was very happy, and I did, when I took the survey, I told you so. I rated it all 10s and I rated it all outstanding, because I really did think it was an outstanding visit. So that's all I got for right now, folks. Like I said, do all those internet things. Follow me on the other social media that you'll see down on the bar underneath us. And until next time, I'll see you later.